So yesterday I was thinking about some of the things that I've learned whilst running my agency, and quite quickly I built up a list of around 30 items or 30 lessons. So I narrowed them down to 10, which I'm going to cover in this video in the hopes of maybe educating you, maybe saving you some time or heartache whilst dealing with some of these things, or quite frankly, just for a bit of entertainment on YouTube. So for a bit of context, my name is Conrad, and at the start of the year, I decided to start a marketing agency. I've done freelance paid advertising and media buying before for probably around 3 to 4 years. Now, I've actually started the agency in January, and I ended up quitting my full-time job to run it full-time at the end of April. So it took me around 4 months to build up a clientele to a point where I could leave my full-time job. And ever since start of May till October the 12th, I've been running it full-time. So the first lesson that I've learned is to set expectations straight. And straight away, I'll tell you a very quick story. Yesterday, an agency owner DM'd me saying that he's just got off a demo call or a sales call with a prospect, and it was the most frustrating call that he's ever been on. Now, this sparked in mind straight away that you need to set expectations straight, because the prospect told him that he's running a business currently and that side of the business is doing really well. They've got plenty of work and they don't need any more leads. But the second part of that business is requiring leads, and he wants to be able to take on 8 projects per week. And he obviously said that it's perfectly doable. You know, with Facebook ads, you can scale and you can build up to a point where you're getting enough leads and deliver 8 jobs per week. But the prospect said that he has £200 per month advertising budget. Now, if you were to set expectations straight, you would do what this business owner or this agency owner did and basically say to them that it's unrealistic to spend £200 on advertising and get 8 jobs per week. Okay, now if you were a beginner and you weren't setting expectations straight and you'd just be trying to sell the person, then you probably say to them, yes, it's doable. We can get you 8 jobs per week with that advertising spend. Let's just go on and start the work. Okay, this is one of the lessons that I learned. Don't try and tell people what they want to hear just to sell them, but instead set expectations straight, and from day one, your conscience is clear, and also your prospect can trust you more because you've told them exactly how things are. Instead of telling them that they're going to get results instantly within the first 30 days of running paid ads, or that they can get X amount of leads from such a small budget, tell them how things really are in the industry and in the market, and they're going to build trust. The second lesson is close on the last call. I've not done this multiple times, and I've probably lost out on around £5,000 cash collected from new clients, plus the amount of money that I would have collected if they carried on working with me. What I used to do is have a 2-call close where I'd have a discovery call and then a demo call. On that demo call, if a prospect said yes, what I'd do is say, okay, cool, I'll send you an email and let's start working together. The email then contained all the information in regards to the service agreement, the onboarding form, the next steps to add me to an ad account, etc., etc. And I did this 5 times without realizing that these people probably aren't going to reach out to me again. And in fact, they didn't. I got fluff, I got bullshit, I got excuses, I didn't get any answers from people, and I pretty much missed out on around £5,000 cash collected. So my advice to you would be to close on the second call or the last call that you have with the prospect. Get a bit of a commitment from them, whether that is ad account access, maybe a payment on that call, some sort of access to a CRM or the website login, whatever service that you're offering is and whatever fits in terms of the service delivery. Just get a bit of a commitment, get the foot through the door, and psychologically then the prospect already becomes a client and they're already committed to you without even having to spend any money or, you know, sign an agreement or anything like that. They're still committed. They don't then go away and think about things before the onboarding call or the email comes through, whatever process you have afterwards. You can still do the onboarding call, you can still do your email afterwards because they've already slightly committed and they've shown that they want to work with you. So that's something that I've learned the hard way, unfortunately. And my third lesson would be to stack your offer with as much value as possible to a point where your prospect genuinely feels like and they're going to get the best deal ever working with you, and they're not going to even consider any other agencies or any other freelancers to work with because your offer is just that good. It's absolutely full of different things that covers all types of services and deliverables, etc. and you don't copy any other agencies. You don't copy any other offers that you've seen online. You don't shout a crazier offer or a crazier guarantee. You just have an absolutely stacked offer. And if you want to know how I stack my offer and how you can build a offer stack that's actually literally the easiest yes ever for a prospect, drop me a comment and I'll make sure to make a video about that very, very soon. One of the most important lessons that I've learned is to always record your sales call. This is one of the most important takeaways that you could genuinely take away from this video, okay? The moment you start recording your sales call and you watch them back, you write notes, you reflect, you improve on your slides or your call structure or the words that you use, and you see the prospects and the way they react to these words and the sentences and the things that you're covering, you might see that somebody isn't really interested in this particular part of the demonstration or the call, or they're just answering, one-word replies. Sometimes it's down to the prospect, but a lot of the times it really just gives you insight into the structure and the demo call that you do have. So it's very, very important to always record yourself, to always reflect on things, and you learn a lot quicker when you do that. Another thing is always communicate with your clients. Check in with clients regularly. I always send my clients WhatsApp messages. I send them voice notes. I update them about the campaigns, of how things are doing, of how we could be improving things in terms of the lead generation, maybe asking them to send more pictures of the newest project they've done, or just following up on specific leads that they've potentially had conversations with and they've been out to appointments with, etc., etc. It does absolute wonders when you are keeping people in the loop. Don't just take someone else's money, go and deliver a service, and don't keep them in the loop. Communication is one of the most important parts to running a business, so make sure that you effectively communicate with your clients. Another thing that I've been victim of is stopping outreach when things are doing well, and quite frankly, this should be your number one priority, no matter what. No matter how many clients you onboard, no matter how many clients you're signing, you should 100% never stop doing outreach. The next lesson, and this was a very, very tough lesson for me, is don't overshare your system with prospects. Keep things brief, keep them easy to understand, and potentially even show them a live version over Zoom where you share your screen, you go over your system, you go over how things work, whether that is a demo, slides, or whether you actually go into, for example, your CRM, like go high level and explain how things work and how you could set things up for them. But don't ever send your slides to a prospect where they have all of the information, all the documents that they could ever ask for on a particular slide, because I've been burnt before to a point where a prospect said yes on the demo call, and it goes back to this one where I said that you need to close on the last call, because obviously this person here is where I've overshared all of my information. I've sent them a deck where I've got all the information about my system. They then went and said, okay, cool, brilliant, let's go and start work together. They were happy to do so. I said, brilliant, I'll send you an email and let's get things rolling. Never heard back from them. Week go by, 2 weeks go by, they implement my entire system into their lead generation strategy. I felt like absolute ass for weeks. I tried to message them, I tried to call them, no response, and quite frankly, they just took me for the fool that I was at that point. So this was a very, very tough lesson. Hopefully, none of you ever make that mistake. Don't gatekeep your information from a prospect, but keep things brief, keep them easy to understand, make sure that all of the questions are answered, and don't go to the extreme detail that I went into in terms of explaining how things work in your agency and how things are combated and what you do to leverage different types of adverts and the funnel that you build out and specific parts of the funnel, etc., which is what I had throughout my whole entire presentation. The next lesson that I've learned, unfortunately, the hard way once again, is to set a standard, to only work with a specific business that meets this standard, and control the money. Don't work with companies that fall below this standard, and also control the money. And what I mean by that is have cards on file where you charge them automatically before you start delivering the service. So I charge a month up front, which means the agency model obviously works this way because it's very good for cash flow. It allows you to bring cash in, and then if you have, for example, media buyers, you pay them at the end of the month. which means you've got a whole month worth of cash that you've collected from clients that you can use to grow the company. And at the end of the month, you need to obviously pay people. Work with a specific business that meets a standard that you want to work with, and have cards on file where you just charge them. Everything's automatic. There's no hassle. There's no calling people on the last Friday of the month saying, can I get this payment today, etc., etc. Chasing people for money is never a good thing in business. You want to have control over the money that you are owed for your services. And lastly, one of the biggest lessons, and this one comes from Andy Frisella, and he mentions this all the time on his podcast, Real AF. If you ever want to go and check it out, I would highly recommend it, is to focus on solving problems rather than trying to make as much money as possible. Andy says himself that in the first 10 or so years of running his business or businesses, he only focused on hitting specific milestones in regards to money. Now, the moment that he shifted his mindset to start focusing on solving problems is the exact moment that he made the most money. And it's the exact same thing for me. When I started focusing and looking at people's specific problems, and not only just focusing on the lead generation side of things that I do, but also focusing on business specific problems that some of my clients face that I can help them with, that is exactly when I started to make a lot more money. Because I'm not only just focusing and chasing that 10K per month, like literally 99% of the SMMA space is, I'm actually focusing on solely solving the problems of the people that come to me. And I see them as challenges that I can help them overcome. And that's exactly the mindset shift that you need to make to be able to really take your business and grow your business to a point where you're not just looking at money and that's coming in, but actually people that are coming to you with problems that you can genuinely help. And that's pretty much it. I thank you for watching. I hope that you got some value and insights into running an agency, or maybe some of the lessons that I've learned, maybe some of the stories that I've shared have highlighted the fact that this business game isn't easy and people rip you off, people take your money. And if you did enjoy this video, let me know in the comments. And whilst you're out there, please let me know if you want one more of these, because I have a shit ton more notes of lessons and failures and wins and so on of my SMMA journey.